Hey everybody, this is Patriot Torch coming back to you to talk about the 2020 elections and the biggest candidates that are for both parties, and we're going to talk about some stuff, especially some Biden and him grabbing ass.
I was going to say, well, there's only one candidate for our party right now. But so it looks like Joe Biden is going to be the Jeb Bush of 2016, which is not a good look for him. But from what I've seen, he has a 21-point lead on Bernie Sanders across the country right now. So Bernie's probably shaking in his boots, cold sweats at night. But from what we saw with Jeb Bush in 2016, it's very early on. It doesn't mean a lot. But Joe Biden is doing his thing. He's done Biden his time, and he's running around trying to make a move on your grandmother. So, look out.
Yeah, I mean, what's so bad
Joe
about
kids. Hi, Joe Biden.
That's his new. That should be Biden's new slogan, like hide your kids. Hide your kids. Hide your kids. 2020. Because I mean, how many times does he have to sniff people before people are like, dude, that's kind of crazy.
Imagine him and Bernie out there in the Democratic primaries. They're just out there like taking vitamins and eating pudding. Like it's gonna be interesting for sure.
Oh man, they should. That's another meme they should make. That someone should make Biden like sniffing Sanders. Because like they're like the top two, and then Biden, you know. All right, so have you seen the videos of? Yeah, you must have seen the videos already of those girls, the little girls getting sniffed on.
Oh yeah, they got the meme for it, man.
Yeah.
People get creative with
the
the
first
Photoshop.
one that Trump put up, I saw it on his IG.
Yes,
it's hilarious.
yes.
Where Biden just like sneaks up behind himself when,
Yeah,
when he's
exactly.
doing his announcement for the presidential bid.
And the reaction from the Democrats is even funnier because I think it was like CNN. They're like, oh, Trump posts a doctored video, like it's something like some scam.
You don't say.
It's like, we know that it's doctored.
Is it
It's
not
just
obvious?
Because they always want to use the words that make it look like it's evil or something.
Or we fact checked this video and we found that it had been doctored and edited from its original.
I think I'd rather see a Trump-Biden election than a Trump-Bernie election. But,
Yeah.
I mean, God, Biden, what an ass clown. I mean, God Almighty, I can't get over him smelling those women's hair. I mean, I mean, what are you doing, man?
You don't need to do that. That's not even your wife.
Even besides that, like some girl that I would remotely know, I wouldn't just walk up to her and like smell her hair. Like they don't call him creepy Uncle Joe for nothing.
Yeah, exactly. It's
Sleepy
like,
Joe.
And his excuse is like, I'm really touchy-feely person. You know, I like to be really in contact with people and show love and whatever his excuse is. And it's like, dude, who does that? You don't just go up to women behind them.
No, that
you
ain't
don't go behind them.
That ain't cool, man.
So you think that would have flown with Brett Kavanaugh or Trump?
Right? Yeah.
Playing that game.
Tell me
Oh
about
my
it.
gosh! If
beer.
Kavanaugh. Dude,
I like beer.
Dude, if they found Brett Kavanaugh just like remotely smelling like any women at all,
yeah,
they would have said that was rape. Literally, that was rape.
What a disgrace that smear campaign was.
Oh my God!
Did you watch it?
I watched a lot of the hearings.
Lindsey Graham, in that period, Republican senator, South Carolina, he skyrocketed to the top of my list.
Yeah, I used to hate the dude.
Exactly.
I didn't hate him, but he was just kind of like,
Yeah.
But when he exploded that one day on TV, he said, "This is the most unethical sham I've ever seen in my time in politics." I was like, my guy right here. I was like, let me tell you.
He definitely shot up like in terms of credibility with that.
If I had to make a list of my top politicians I'd like to meet and shake their hand, not a politician but a commentator, it'd probably be Ben Shapiro, President Trump, Ted Cruz, Lindsey Graham, and Brian Kemp is up there somewhere.
That's definitely a good choice. I definitely want to meet President Trump. I want to meet Alex Jones. I want to meet who's that guy? Steven Crowder.
Crowder's
Crowder.
I want to meet
Always entertaining.
who's another guy? Paul Joseph Watson. There's Laura Loomer. She's like gets banned off of like literally everything. Wherever she goes, she gets banned. And
I like Candace Owens.
Candace Owens
I'd like
is
to
good.
sit down and have a cup of coffee with her.
Dude, that'd be great.
Be a great conversation.
Candace Owens. Prager's pretty good too.
Prager University.
Yeah, they're pretty good. I don't agree with everything.
No,
but
I
they're
know,
still pretty good.
not everything, guys. I like probably 99% of what they say, but then sometimes I'll see something they put out. And like, nah, dude. Nah,
Yeah,
nah,
sometimes
I
I'm
don't
just like I don't agree with you on that, but it's still, hey, it's useful for a lot of things, and going back to what was it Joe Biden? There was actually this one thing I saw an article recently where Joe Biden in 2006, I believe, there was like a video of him saying, "Yeah, we need a strong border to stop illegal immigrants."
Oh,
like literally.
now he's done a 180.
Yeah, a total 180. Because at that time he's like, "Oh, these illegals, yeah, they're bringing in a ton of drugs. Like it's bad." And I voted it, or I supported like setting up a fence, and like literally like exactly what Trump would say now. But he's saying the exact opposite now. I'm sure Joe would never want to say that now. But it makes you think like. He's obviously not a genuine person if he has the opposite views today. It means that he's literally just doing whatever it takes to have more power. He's just a power-grabbing, thirsty little goblin that just wants to do whatever he can to manipulate people.
Do you think he edges out Trump?
Nah.
In the what about you, Travis? I know you've got some thoughts on this. Do you think he edges out Trump?
I don't know.
Trump Biden?
It's going to be too close.
Do you think he steals independence in the Rust Belt?
Maybe
Joe
not.
Biden?
Maybe not.
Joe Biden?
I hope not.
Creepy Joe.
I mean,
I think Creepy Joe's gonna just wreck him. Like just that name alone, everyone knows that. Like when you say Creepy Joe, people like they know what we're talking about.
I don't think
strategically it probably would have been better for people to save the memes till like a month or two before election.
Yeah, I know, because they're going to be just...
Because like
deadbeat.
it's kind of like the idea of Warren getting past the DNA test deal.
That poor woman.
I mean, because she got hammered.
Hammered. They hung her out to dry. I actually felt. I remember talking. I actually felt bad. I legitimately felt bad for her because I think she really believed she was a Native American.
Yeah.
She really believed it. She got hired at Harvard University. When she went and worked at the school, she listed herself as a Native American, and they hired her because of that.
Oh,
she listed it on multiple job applications. People talk about it all the time.
The funniest thing is because she actually has less Native American than like most people on the planet.
Yeah, it was like 1 in 1,024% of possibly. They didn't even test her for Native American. It was like Ecuadorian, Colombian, and I think the other one was like Mexican.
And isn't it ironic? Well, she was the one that was like, "Oh, Trump has to pay me $1 million because I still have like 0.001."
Yeah,
Like, come on.
What's even more laughable is that she was posting videos of like Native American recipes that she'd be like whipping up in her kitchen, and she was just like doing the Pocahontas thing with the feathers. You know,
cultural appropriation, now, right?
It's just like,
where's the double standard?
Yeah, I know.
I felt bad for her. I did. I was like,
I don't know if I feel bad for her. Honestly.
She embarrassed herself. Well, I kind of did from like a humane standpoint. I was like, I do kind of feel bad right now.
What if she was just taking advantage of it and did literally do it?
I don't know if she knew. I think she really, really believed that she was Native American.
Yeah, I don't think you go on a national stage and brag about it.
No.
Well, I mean, actually, I take that back because there are people that do that. But
sometimes
I think it's more the exception than the rule that people go out there and
she
do that.
She got the nickname Pocahontas, and then it turned out she wasn't Native American at all.
Yeah, that's why they call it Pocahontas.
Yeah,
now it's the running joke. When Trump is at one of his drives to the dirt, he's like Pocahontas, and I just lost it.
I know, it's so funny.
Yeah.
Those things are powerful. That's how Trump won last election. Is these catchy names.
I don't think Biden or Bernie will be able to get into a slugfest with President Trump in the primaries. When it boils down to it, Trump's going to be up there throwing haymakers as hard as he can, and I don't think they're going to be able to throw him back.
Yeah.
If you look at Bernie, everyone else is dead in the water. I think Buttigieg, yeah, whatever. I think, he's the only other person I've seen in the news recently, and I think he's dead in the water.
If you can't even say his name, it's like,
what do you think Bernie beats Trump?
Maybe more likely than Joe.
Than Biden?
Yes.
You think Bernie steals independence? You think Bernie steals the Rust Belt?
Maybe.
You think Bernie steals Wisconsin? You think Bernie steals Michigan? Does Bernie steal Florida?
No way, dude. Bernie is like the radical guy, the Antifa that's like doing meth in their basement.
I think he's too far left. I think he's too far. He's too much of a socialist for
Too much.
Well, okay, so what I wonder though, because what you get in the primaries is the hardest left positions, right?
Right.
So what
They
I
try
want
to outflank each other.
Yeah, so they go, I am the true pillar of the far left, right? And then, so everybody moves way left in the primaries. But Bernie has never had to go back to the middle to get this.
Mainstream Democrats.
Yeah, so
Right.
to get, or even independent. So he hasn't had to make that move. And nobody knows how convincing or whatever he is in that arena, let's say.
I don't know if he can be. He went
He has
on
an
his
image, it's
he went on his
branded.
honeymoon to the USSR. He was caught on camera singing their national anthem.
I'm pretty
United
sure-
States of Soviet Russia.
I'm pretty
It
sure.
happened.
I'm pretty sure there's a video of him in the '80s or something where he's like, people lining up for food isn't a bad thing. It's like, what the heck?
Oh yeah, because the bread line is just like at the end of the line you get
It's
bread.
a good thing. It's a good
Yeah.
thing. It's a
It's a
yeah.
good thing.
Yeah, no, walking to the grocery store right now and not having to wait in line is a bad thing. It's
I
so
think-
bad.
I think Bernie is Stalin. Bernie is Stalin.
Bernie is
Don't-
like a Stalin without power.
Don't Soviet Union my America.
Yeah, exactly.
That should be the slogan against
Against
Bernie. Don't Soviet Union my
Don't
America.
don't
He
Venezuela
loved it.
my-
He loved the Soviet Union.
Well, let's.
Yeah,
What's Bernie's campaign
Venezuela.
phrase right now?
Hide your money.
But Joe Biden is hide your kids. Bernie is hide your money.
Hide your kids. Hide your wife. No, but honestly though, like he's gonna campaign on all these social services where if he gets voted in, that's why I don't understand how anyone votes Democrat, period. They campaign on taking as much of your money as possible. That's everything that they promised, that all the free stuff, all the social services. It's not free. Where's that money coming from?
Well, and see, and here's the one thing that you do have to appreciate about Bernie is he goes, your taxes will go up. Like he's very honest about it, right? So he's not, at least he's not a lie. Like he's not like, no, he's like, everybody, your taxes are going up to pay for this. Like it's gonna happen.
Dude, this is a party. Your taxes are going up.
Yeah, like
This is the party.
This is what you're gonna get. I'm gonna give you this stuff, but your taxes, you're gonna end up paying more.
It's so baffling to me. Why would anybody vote to have more of their money taken away? Like, please, if you're a liberal out there, come on. Like, if you can explain, I want an open debate. It's not an argument. If you can explain to us why we should give the federal government any more money than we already are, I'd like to hear it. I would like to see the stance of the Bible thumping Bernie lovers, the feel the burn hat wearing, they're out there. They are. They're out there. I'd like to see the rationale behind that, because I just don't see it.
Well, my big thing is always like, let's talk about those things after you balance the budget. If you're running on a balanced budget, do all the government programs you want to some extent. Like if you're taxing me at the rate I'm getting taxed right now, or let's say the system as it is, even though I don't like it, but let's say that the system stays as
North
it is.
Carolina's pretty good.
But I'm saying like federally, because that's what Bernie's messing with. He's not going to come to North Carolina and change our rules, right?
I don't like our taxes either, though.
Well, they're not, the income
They're
tax in North
okay, but
Carolina
I
is
still
fairly
don't.
low. I don't like it.
I still think I'm giving too much money.
No,
to the
sure.
government.
The government takes so much
But-
friggin' money already. It's just like, when's the limit? The Democrats have no limit. Oh yeah, take more.
Our
take
sales
more,
tax
take more.
right now is 7 cents on every dollar. Well, it went down to 6 cents on the dollar for a little bit.
But we did vote, I think we voted.
We did.
We voted it
We
down.
voted to cap
Voted
the
down.
income, at least I think cap the income tax.
That was the general election.
Oh yeah,
last
this is a big
November.
one too. The
It's an
Democrats.
amendment now.
It's amazing how the Democrats. They know how to get your money. They don't know how to produce money. They never
Well,
about.
no, they know how to produce it.
They don't know
It's
how
called
to-
inflation is
You
what
know-
that is.
You know, it would be
Just keep
great. We
printing
should
it.
go to a Bernie rally as like a couple of undercovers, and we'll have like a big banner, and it'll just say "Hide your money." And we'll just like hold it up. They'd probably rally behind it. They'd probably think,
They probably
it'd
don't
probably be a
understand
thing for them,
it. Your money
I don't
by
know,
2020.
but like North Carolina's pretty good. I mean, we got people fleeing Democrat states up north. They fly out of there to come down to the South.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, because our taxes are pretty nice, and I think we're
And then you
paying.
can buy a house for dirt cheap.
Yeah,
too.
to them, I think we're paying too much in taxes down here. I want to see more tax cuts.
Sure. Yeah. No, I'm definitely on that.
I can't be against tax cuts ever. I mean, it's like whenever I hear it, it's like sounds like a gift that's coming my way. Like I never look at my life and it's like I need to pay more taxes.
Well, let me pose this way:
It's just-
if you would you be okay? Okay, so let's say that we froze government spending, or froze the increase rate, right? And then you went back and said, all right, so to get the debt back to zero, we're going to have to increase taxes for 5 years. Are you down for that?
No, because
No, but like I'm saying, like amendment level rule that you get to a balanced budget in 5 years, and then there's an increased tax for 5 years to help get the money that gets us back to square one.
Right,
So
but-
you get a balanced budget amendment, and then you say we're going to pay a little. So you pay a little more for a few years that gets you to a balanced budget that then you can actually look at like how to deal with programs.
Now, I like balancing the budget, but the problem is that's also based on the
I
assumption
wouldn't vote
that
for
it
it.
would be able to, that we would actually be able to balance the budget in such a short period of time.
Well, I
It's
don't know
very-
what the
it
time
wouldn't
frame would
happen.
be.
I like your pitch, but I would never, because I'm so decisive.
Plus, is it possible? Because remember, the money system itself is corrupt because it's not backed by anything. It's just a totally just paper that people accept as value. That's
So,
all it is. It's
I
just
think-
they keep creating more and more debt. It's like a scheme. It's really a scheme by the Rothschilds and the central bankers. They're creating money
I
out
don't
of
know
nothing, out
anything
of thin
about
air.
all that.
Here's the thing. Okay, so
It's
Rand
fair.
Paul actually has introduced a bill that would
Rand Paul?
Rand Paul
My guy.
has introduced a bill that would balance the budget in like 5 to 10 years. And they basically you take a penny, you freeze the increase of spending. So you keep the spending the same.
If
They
Rand
just
Paul
don't
said it, I
increase.
like it.
But like what I'm saying is if there was a bill like that, if there's a bill like that then increased maybe like 2 or 3%.
No.
Like I'm talking like a
Yeah,
small
but-
amount, and then you stop the increase of the budget.
Rand Paul, why are you
So
doing
it's
like this?
what I wonder is like, is there anything that you're willing to go for getting the budget balance? Because if we're going to talk about like if you want to talk about like, the future of America,
I
a
guess.
$20 trillion debt is not sustainable long.
No, yeah. Well,
So-
you look at the numbers. It's
So
terrible.
if
What I would do is I would reduce the spending before we even touch taxes. We should make the government reduce their damn spending, and then see how everything reacts.
well, some of the spending's necessary. They're like the spending on the military is
Yeah, I'm not
necessary.
against spending either, but it's at the same time, it's like I understand what you're saying, but I'm not gonna increase my taxes.
If
to,
Rand
to
Paul
do that.
said it, then I'm like,
well, I mean,
really like, I like
his
me some
plan
Rand
plan
Paul.
doesn't involve a tax increase, as far as I know. It's just it stops because like basically government gets more money at a percentage rate every year. So a certain percentage they get to spend more. But what his bill does is it stops it. Instead of like getting a little bit more money each year, they don't get any more. So you're not getting a cut. So like the idea that we're cutting spending, you're not cutting spending. You're just keeping it the same,
What if?
which saves us money
Yeah.
in the long term.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely
We have to
something
do
we gotta do.
though.
We have to do
Yeah,
something.
We have to do something.
The problem is obviously like as long as they don't raise my taxes anymore, like I can. I
But
can
what
understand
he's
solutions.
proposing is if there was a way, and if Rand Paul said it, it's got to be true. Like no, Rand Paul is one of my top favorite politicians
Yeah.
of all time too. I really like Rand Paul. But if there is a way we could raise taxes just a little bit temporarily to get us to where we need to go, would I vote for it? Probably not.
I'm
Should
talking.
I?
I'm
Maybe.
talking like an amendment level like rule, like to where that you can't have the Democrats come in and reallocate
Oh,
funds
to-
or something that like locks the government
defends
into
it.
yeah.
Because it can be if we don't
Because
have
I don't want I definitely don't want it to be open to where somebody could come in
Right.
4 years later and be like I want to keep the taxes
It's like,
higher
sorry guys,
and
it wasn't
keep-
enough,
right.
guys.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. that's-
So like make it like a bulletproof bill
to cut into debt.
to get rid of the debt basically.
Yeah.
Because like that's gonna really screw any future generations.
I was joking previously. We would need someone to explain that very thoroughly.
No, and I'm just like it's just an idea because like there's certain things that like you could say that are worth spending tax dollars on. Like if you want to say like the military is a worthwhile thing, right? And is
Roads.
So like if you got a credit card bill, right? That's $1,000, let's say. Is it worth just letting it keep gain interest, or is it worth taking a hit to pay it off, right? And I think that's something that the country has to decide to do. I don't think the Democrats are the party to do it by any means.
No, they don't.
They're willing to. Well, I mean, maybe you say Democrats pick your tax rate, and then Republicans say, "Well, you guys pick your spending cuts," and that may not even be a good move because Republicans will spend money just the same as Democrats will to some extent. So
it doesn't seem like a bad idea. I just have such a hard time voting my money away.
Oh yeah, for
But
sure.
I'm saying if you had someone to pitch that to the American people the way you just pitched it now, I mean, yeah,
mean,
if
it's
you
gonna
could,
suck.
if you
It's-
could get, yeah, it's
That's
gonna
what
suck.
I mean. Like, and you may be like, okay, so people on welfare, you're gonna have to take a hit for 5 years. But after those 5 years, we cut taxes back down, and then we're balanced. So now we're more, let's say, more equipped to take on, if we do have to take on some debt again, or something like that. I mean, I really don't want to see any debt, but at least get to where maybe you have a surplus, and then you can look at actually fixing these problems that we have in a responsible manner. Because right now it's just throw money at it and hope we fix it.
Here's another important issue related to this that we haven't touched on is, what about the value of the money itself while this is all going on? Because it has no backing in gold or any actual commodity that can actually represent
precious
value.
metals is the safest way to protect your income. But the legislation for your idea would have to be written flawlessly.
Oh yeah, no, for sure,
without a doubt,
for sure. And I'm not even sure that there's a way to write the legislation, but at least as an idea. Like it would be something worthwhile, right?
Yeah, we can put it out there.
And you know, like
idea.
I think you have to try to fix these hard issues because, like, I mean, right now none of the politicians. Trump's not going to fix this problem.
No.
Biden and Bernie, none of them are going to fix this problem.
I'm actually extremely disappointed at little he's done to Planned Parenthood, because one of the main reasons I really liked him, I thought he was going to work to defund Planned Parenthood, and he's done nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And see,
did he not? He did something to defund it, right?
I haven't seen enough of it. I mean,
I've seen.
There was part of me I felt like I was making excuses for him because a lot of the policies he was proposing outside of that I liked, but like we know with the abortion debate, like we all do, we all get extremely emotional about it, and I thought that maybe he would be the conservative in the White House to actually get something done.
So let me ask this: what would you? Okay, so let's say you're somebody that maybe voted for, or voted for Trump last time, and now you're back on the fence again, right?
Well, I can't imagine that.
So what are things that you have seen in the past 2 years that you would like to see Trump fix? Or mistakes he's made.
Number one mistake is censorship. The fact that nothing's happened yet, that doesn't mean he won't do anything, but man, dude, the censorship is terrible. That's like the biggest mistake that he hasn't done anything.
He's commented on it. But
the question, and then I would question there how much the government has to do there. But like
they actually, that's a good question.
Well, they're in the private sector there. That's how they get around the First Amendment. They're the tech companies, the big tech companies. They're private companies.
But they're also still doing something illegal because I'm pretty sure they're not allowed to simply say that their company is a public square for everyone to say whatever they want and they have no liability. But then they say that they can still take you off.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. That's
against
some law. The idea of So Crowder actually did a really good bit on this Thursday, and basically what it is there's the idea there's two types of regulations for them that they could fall under, and there's the publisher and a platform. Right now they're regulated as a platform, and a lot of the cases that are being made is that they should be regulated as a publisher because they are regulating what people say on the platform.
Right, exactly.
So now they're curating information, which means if they are in fact a publisher, then they are responsible for the things that are put on there. So like if somebody says something bad on there, Twitter or Facebook could be sued.
Right,
but right now they're a platform, but because they're basically getting it both ways.
Yeah, they're immune to the fact that they can control your speech. They control a monopoly of communication in this country because obviously all these kids are on their phones, and a lot of us, I'm on the phone. We all communicate through social media. Yep. It's how elections are actually made, and political decisions are made based on this form of communication.
Well, it's where the political discourse happens now. It's not Main Street or Town Hall or whatever anymore. It's Facebook. It's Twitter.
And if that's being controlled, then guess what? The elections are going to be affected. That's if Trump can get this right and do something about breaking these monopolies up, he will have a better chance of winning. It's actually beneficial for him to do something about this because people need to be able to see the conservative perspective instead of being bombarded by leftists and then banning all the censorship, banning all the conservatives.
There's nothing worse than a leftist, but I'd like to see him defund. That's so true. And I'd like to see him defund Planned Parenthood though, and work towards a nationwide ban on abortion.
Okay. That's something I agree with.
What else you got? Anything else? Any areas you wish he'd done better?
I thought he was too soft on getting the wall built.
Exactly.
Because he put so much emphasis on that, and like I loved at the rallies whenever we were all chanting about the wall. I'm like, God, we had a blast. But I know he's gotten some of it built, some of it reconstructed. But I remember looking at the numbers of the bill that he even agreed to terms on with the Democrats, and I was like, this isn't even close to what we need.
Right. It was literally like a fraction of, and then that leaves a bunch of open space. And then now we're looking at the illegal immigration. It's rising now, and there's people, border patrol agents, like reporting on it, hundreds a day, thousands a day. Still,
We don't have enough work down there.
we don't do it, and then also they're bringing in diseases. The illegals are bringing in diseases that we're not vetting in many cases, or we catch them and then we release them into the land. Their border patrols are getting sick, literally, from the illegals, and it's like a chaos. And I totally agree. That's something Trump has to get done. And the argument was, oh, why doesn't he just declare a real emergency that allows them to use like some kind of emergency fund to build?
Oh my God, that makes
Well, he
me.
did, but
Even the shutdown.
No, but it wasn't a real emergency, because what he was saying, he wasn't able to allocate funds to build the wall because even though he should, because it's actually a
What
threat
about
to
the
our country.
shutdown? The shutdown was a big nothing. I thought what he should have done, he should have kept the government shut down and pointed at the Democrats across the aisle and said they're the only ones that can reopen it. They give me the money I need, funding for the wall, and the government will be reopened. But what he did is he caved to the people that were telling him we're about to not be getting our checks. The government employees that were looking at him.
Yeah.
What he should have done, and he didn't do it. And I was disappointed with him. I mean, he's my guy, but I was disappointed. He needed to point at the Democrats across the aisle and say they're the only ones that can reopen the government. You want to end the shutdown? Tell them to give me the funding I need. And he didn't do it.
right.
Right, and it's definitely causing a big issue, because if we don't get that wall done, one way or another, we're screwed, because that's just too much crime and drugs pouring through, illegal immigrants, diseases, like tuberculosis or
Right.
something coming in. That's just ridiculous.
Well, they need to come through the right way. It's not fair to the people that choose to follow the law that they just walk across the border illegally and get on our welfare system.
No,
It's not fair.
And
Nah.
and I think the one area that I know he let me down on is the Second Amendment, right?
Oh, the bump stock.
The bump stock
Yeah,
ban.
that was
Me
weird.
too.
Why
That
did they do
I
that?
and it was by executive order too,
I was in.
which
I
was the
in-
worst way to do it
Right.
by any means. And I think now that the election is coming back around, he's talking about the
NRA.
national concealed carry deal. And I think it's more of to me it feels more like an election ploy than it actually going to get anywhere policy wise.
Oh, me too. I've seen him talk about it. And I was like, yeah, we'll see.
At least, the thing is, what I appreciate about Trump is that he at least talks about solutions that
Sure.
actually make sense.
I want action though. I mean,
Yeah,
words.
we need more. We do need action.
Words
We do need
mean nothing to me in that aspect. I want legislation because I vote based on policy.
Yeah.
Now, back
Well,
then I didn't, but
He did good, and I mean, and I don't want to sound like I'm just straight up like,
bashing him.
Yeah, no, and he did a lot of
More
the
pros,
bi-
more pros than
the-
cons.
What I liked is the biggest thing that affected me was the tax, or getting rid of the Obamacare tax burden,
Yeah.
and basically the tax cuts, which do actually exist. You weren't you were paying less throughout the year, and you got a
Right.
smaller refund at the end of the year, but you were paying less.
Yeah,
taxes.
I know a lot of
So,
people were wondering why.
That was a huge thing for me, and it definitely made my month to month expenses a lot easier getting that. So
Awesome. Yeah, I mean that's definitely so. It's important. Like, this is a great discussion, because I know that Trump is obviously, compared to the Democrats, I mean, like, he's like a no-brainer in my view. But
Right.
but we also have to make sure that we're promoting the right things for him to do the right things too, and put pressure on him to do the right things, so that we can make it productive.
I was
for the next
livid
4
about the
years.
bump stock.
Yeah, that was
I was
crazy.
livid because, I mean, you can make a bump stock with anything. Banning them, I mean, it still
you don't
does
need a bump stock.
Yeah, it does absolutely nothing.
It was almost like a way to try to appease the Democrats.
That's or independence. That's what I thought. That's what I thought too.
It's kind of political
Yeah.
tactic, like, oh, we'll give you this because But the problem is, if he compromises too much that way, it doesn't work that much, because the other side isn't gonna give him the credit at all. They're everything he does, they destroy him about it. So what's the point in even trying to appease the other side when they don't want to be appeased? They just want to destroy him. You know what I mean? So
We're out of time.
we're out of time, but
Well, thanks for tuning in to the Patriot Torch. We look forward to seeing you guys at our next segment.
sweet. See ya.
Thank you.